Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 382. My name is Mel Popeye Moss, and my National SA Geezer is with me here in studio. And Geezer, OG's out someplace. He said he's in his scrubs. I thought, in his scrubs. I don't know whether he's a doctor or a patient, but anyway, he's fixing to get an MRI done. So he's not with us tonight. And so we're going to do the best we can on the topics at hand. And Geezer, let's start out first by giving all of the MCs out there 1%, whatever percent you are, no percent, and independent. We want to give you kudos on all the motorcycle toy runs, coats for kids, everything that's going on, foods for needy families, whatever you're doing. Thank you. Because we know you won't get it, not from law enforcement, not from any public entities, any national media, but we're here to tell you thank you. And man, Geezer, it's been a heck of a first few weeks of Christmas, and we've still got a few weeks to go here.
Yeah. And the thing about the smaller toy runs is you get to pick and choose who you give the toys to.
That's exactly right. It's I find it more personable, the smaller toy runs and stuff like that actually makes it to needy families, and it's not just toys being thrown out there to everybody that may need it and may not need it. And but you've got to hope, even in those big toy runs, that stuff makes it into the hands of needy people and not just people that are scamming the system, which we know goes on. But it is what it is, and everybody participates. It's a great thing. It's a great thing that our community does. And so we're sorry about that, everybody. She knows better than that. But it's a great thing that everybody does. And I'm sorry about the phone call. I'll make sure this doesn't happen again. So here we are.
You might have want to heard the conversation.
That's right. So, hey, what can I say? Dadgum, Geezer. We're really close. We're getting really close to Patrick's trial down in Milam County. Now they have another hearing this Friday to over evidence. What evidence will be allowed and what evidence won't be allowed. And in particular, we're talking about information from gang databases. And, if there's not a person there, the person who put Patrick into the gang database, it's a no-go, or it should be a no-go, because you are allowed to face your accuser. And in this case, with Patrick, it's not the police officer who arrested him, and for that high crime of 7 miles over, and the fact that he had a current CHL that is supposed to keep this kind of mess from happening. But anyway, he's on trial for criminal carry, and which he is has not ever been convicted as a criminal. And so we're trying to figure out what evidence is going to be submitted. Like I said, the gang database information, if they're just going to send some copies of whatever some officer might have said, because this is all hearsay. So the person who put him into that database needs to be present and needs to be prepared to tell why he put him in there. Is it just because he's a member of a motorcycle club, or was it for a real reason? And, we all know motorcycle clubs are not street gangs. They're just not. And so that's where we're at with that. That judge has got. He should make the right decision, but as we've seen, Geezer, they go ahead and they buy into the narrative of law enforcement and allow this kind of stuff.
Yeah, Waco's prime example of that.
Waco is a prime example, the largest case of motorcycle profiling in Texas history, we do believe. Hundreds of innocent people were profiled on the spot and arrested for crimes they did not commit, or they were prepared to send those people to prison. And that's the worst thing of all, is that they are always prepared to send innocent people to prison. And that's just wrong. And we're going to fight it. We're going to fight it again and again and again wherever this kind of mess occurs. And so we want you to join us. And Geezer, I'm almost thinking, man, we should have done one more protest down there, one more rally there in front of the courthouse. And who knows, I may decide to do it anyway.
I was going to say, we can always do it again.
Yeah, we can always do it again, no matter who shows up. I mean, it's the, and I see it sometimes as our responsibility to go in there and stand up and say something publicly. But his if it gets past this this hurdle on Friday, then his trial is set for December 16th, and so we'll see where this goes. And if it looks like we're headed for trial on December 16th, we will be ready. And we are asking everybody, if this thing goes to trial on December 16th, show up to the Milam County Courthouse. Let's fill it. Let's fill it, overflow it, like something they've never seen. We'll be working on this, and we'll be putting out the word quick on Friday, because the trial would be just 3 days later. Be prepared, everybody. Have your bike set on go, or however you get there. Doesn't make us any difference. It really doesn't. Just making sure my mic's on. I've done that before too, Geezer. Wow, Geezer. People started asking us about this Joe Fingers guy.
Yeah.
And he's been around quite a while.
I haven't had a chance to look at the video yet.
Oh, man. It's really hard to take for the first 11 minutes, because he's telling us how like he brought up pretextual stops. Now, there's pretextual stops. There are Terry stops. That was something I've never heard of before. And a Terry stop is a Terry stop of a person by law enforcement officers based on reasonable suspicion that a person may have been engaged in criminal activity, whereas an arrest requires probable cause. That's a Terry stop.
So our sobriety checkpoints, are those considered Terry stops?
You've got me on that one. You've got me. But now let's switch to a pretextual traffic stop, which he is suggesting that is just so perfectly okay. A pretextual stop involves a police officer stopping a driver for a traffic violation. Hey, we see that going on, don't we, Geezer? Minor or otherwise, to allow the officer to investigate a separate and unrelated suspected criminal offense. Now, these are what they're doing is they're seeing bikers go down the road, and they will stop them for a minor traffic violation, real or not. Real or not, because in some cases they're not real.
Yeah.
And they've even admitted, like here recently, hey, we just want to update our database. And they didn't write a ticket, and they go on their way. But geezer, I'm going to submit, it don't matter what you call these stops, a Terry stop, a pretextual stop, motorcycle profiling. We see it as every bit of it is unconstitutional. When you're tooling down the road and there's no evidence of a crime that's been committed. And I'm not talking about a damn stopping on the white line. That's not a criminal offense. And I wish I probably had a dime for every time I've stopped on a white line.
Well, I remember the other day, both of us were past the white line.
Oh, yeah. I brought it up. We were sitting on the white line. Come and get us. I mean, my goodness. So,
So anything can be a pretextual.
Yeah. Any minor traffic violation or otherwise, I don't really know what otherwise is. I don't know how you commit a crime going down the damn road. I mean, unless you've got to stop to rob a bank. But Mel, this guy, this Joe Fingers guy, he got around to in his video that we posted, and I don't want to make too much of that because then it'll give him the time of day because he's a freaking law officer, because he's pushing the narrative, because he's out there to sell something. He's out there as let me see, what was it? Some law enforcement institute that wants to teach everybody, that wants to teach law enforcement. And they're just pushing the same narrative over and over and over again. So, I mean, it's a guy that is out there benefiting from pushing the narrative, a guy that's trying to sell himself as an instructor to law enforcement.
Yeah.
But in the end of the video, Geezer, he wanted to be our friend. He wanted to tell us about our bylaws and what they should and shouldn't have in them. And I can tell you right now, from most of the bylaws, and when I do get OG back here on the podcast with us, we'll be talking about bylaws and so on, because he is the guy that does our bylaws, and a guy that studied plenty of bylaws as we were getting ready to become an MC. But you know what? The stuff that he was talking about in there that might get you in trouble, from most of the bylaws I've read, they've already addressed that situation. So he's telling old news out there. That's what we're seeing. And so, there we go. Just more of the same. What was that? That other outfit, Southwest Outlaw Motorcycle Gang, whatever it was called. Seminar. They put on seminars. Yeah.
There's several of them that do that.
Yeah. Yeah. They come to Waco each year. Yeah. And, and there was some guys that went down there. I'll see if I can find that video. There were some guys that went down there and were standing around outside filming them going in and out. Oh, they didn't want to be seen with their girlfriends where they were held up in that hotel for the weekend, boozing it up, and drinking it up. And,
probably wasn't their wives.
Yeah. Not with wives. But anyway, it was. I'll find that video. See if we can post it. We didn't do it. Some other guys did, and it was pretty good, pretty interesting, and So there we go. Any comments on that?
It well, it's blatantly unconstitutional, at least to me. Of course, I'm not a law enforcement officer, so I can't make my own constitution.
Well, the thing about it is, Geezer, we can read the Constitution, what it says your protections are. And we know that, the Sixth Amendment, that you are allowed to face your accuser.
And the pretextual stops, and I know there's plenty of videos out there where the people pull up, they'll show them their license, and that's all. They don't roll their window down. Eventually they go on their way.
Yeah,
because they know it's against the law to just pull you over.
Yeah, just for no reason. But then again, we've got them making up reasons to pull you over. I mean, out here in Parker County, where the sheriff's deputy, that's the one that lacked tact, according to the Sheriff Fowler. He said, "Well, come up behind a biker and says, 'I'm fixing to take you to jail.'" And yeah, what for? Because of what you're wearing. Yeah. Because of that patch. And that's exactly what he did. He drove out of the station, and when he saw the police officer was going to follow him, he went back into the station, Chevron station, and the police officer arrested him, took him to jail for what he was wearing. I mean, Geezer, we've got down in San Antonio now, you can get a ticket for what you're wearing. Disturbing the peace in San Antonio. Oh, yeah. You're disturbing the peace by wearing a motorcycle patch that is constitutionally protected. And, hopefully down in San Antonio, these guys go to trial and push back over this mess. And that's what we're doing now, is pushing back. And, man, we got a whole bunch of people on the chat line tonight. And you guys, that writing on that thing's pretty small. And the reason I'm wearing the sunglasses in here, it's bright in here. We got lights up in here. They're bright, and it'll bug you. But I'll take them off here in a few minutes and read what this is. And yes, we came on early tonight because of when we found out OG was not going to be able to make it this afternoon. And man, protection. Hey, Geezer, sorry. Geezer, the perpetual stops, profiling, Terry stops, whatever you want to call it, those are happening in our state, and we hear other states too, because of these gang databases. They've got to have a way to fill up these gang databases, and also, as Fort Worth Police said, we've got to update our databases. So this is a perpetual thing that's going to be going on for a while. Although it has slowed up in some areas here in Texas, it continues to happen. And in particular, Fort Worth, Texas, where it seems to be the kind of epicenter of it. And we can probably add Killeen and Austin to that too.
Yeah.
We don't hear too much of that out of the Houston area, but I'm sure it's going on. And also in the South Texas area, down toward the Corpus Christi, all those places. But they do have a DA down there in Corpus Christi that's a biker. And that guy is amazing. And I ran into him here a while back. And I'll tell you that story later on, maybe. Man.
Well, what was it, a week or two ago? They came out. The Mongols patch is safe. They cannot take that now.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Yes, Mongols patch. according to the federal judge, hey, not so fast. You can't. That's constitutionally protected. You can't take that patch, and that's certainly what's happened. So there won't be there won't be much of that kind of mess going on unless the FBI and so on wants to continue to waste money. But what we've seen out of the FBI and nationally, and everything that's going on in Washington D.C., the FBI is now officially a piece of crap. And I mean, everybody knows that they will lie to get their way. They will push a false narrative to get their way. They will attack anybody, including a president. So think of what's going to happen to us if we don't push back, if we don't keep going. And so I got to read this, Gazer. It says, I got held up at a gas station 12 a.m. in the morning because the trooper said he saw me at another gas station 2 hours earlier. Wow. Wow. Are you kidding me? Do you think that's probable cause? A Terry stop? A pretextual stop?
To them, it probably is.
Yeah. It would be nothing unusual for you to stop at a gas station every 2 hours. What if you have a peanut tank?
Be hitting more than that.
I know. I think, because I've got a heavy throttle hand, my bike probably won't go but 2 hours without filling up again. That's incredible. That is incredible. That comes from Ronnie Cuppy.
Ronnie.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Ronnie. Wow. We got to do. You guys have to send us some email telling us about your adventures with law enforcement. Gunbarreltx@gmail.com. That's GUNBARRELTX@gmail.com. Let us know when this stuff happens to you. That is the silliest thing that we've heard in a while. Damn. But everybody, hey, listen to this. Up here in Dallas right now, Geezer. Damn, I don't want to say it's a goal, but maybe it is. We were saying right now at 196 murders for the year. I think that's the number.
Yeah.
196 murders for the year. We're headed toward 200. Can we make it? We've got a few weeks left in December. And I promise you, the way that our children are killing each other, the way that the citizens are behaving out there, and guess what? There ain't any of it motorcycle clubs. None of it. None of it. But we're headed toward 200 murders for the year. Geezer, maybe it'll slow down some of the migration from other states to come in here.
Well, that would be a plus.
Yeah. I mean,
but they're just going to profile us more.
Yeah. So they're going to go out there and profile motorcyclists. I don't care whether you're independent, you're a 1% club, a no percent, whatever you are. I don't care. The possibilities of being profiled here in the DFW area are really high. And so they're going to waste their time profiling motorcyclists while the general population's out there popping each other off every night. There's a gun battle. It's the OK Corral out here somewhere every night. Now, I can tell you, Geezer, one thing the police department cannot do is force morality onto the general population. And I will promise you that motorcycle clubs have more morality, more integrity than most of our general population who are out there fighting each other, doing all kinds of crap all the time, every night. We got a drug-infested society. We got drug-infested schools. We've got children that have no morals. And, Mel, they can't teach them morality. We got parents that are failing all over the place. They give their kids gadgets. That's the new babysitter.
And what are most kids playing? Shooting games on those.
That's right.
So when they grow up, they'll be better at it.
That's right. I mean, let's tell you, during the Vietnam era, when they recruited kids or drafted kids, when they first went into combat, they had hell getting them to shoot at the enemy because they've been taught, "Thou shalt not kill," all their lives. But nowadays, because of video games, they're ready to go. They're ready to go. And I hear that all the time when I'm talking to military people nowadays, when that subject comes up. But it's a good thing, Geezer, because the enemy they're fighting now is as bad or worse than the Viet Cong. And I don't want to make light of the Viet Cong. They were some horrible, horrible people that would just do some of the most despicable things. But what we've seen since 9/11, man, you talking about horrible people, is our enemies today. Yet we got politicians out there that, hey, they want to sugarcoat it all to the point they've taken over an entire city up north, and you know who I'm talking about. But man, hey, Dallas is now. I mean, they're. It's like they're trying to fill holes in the dam with their fingers. We got so much stuff going on, so many different things. And because of their target fixation, and that's what I call it, Geezer, with motorcycle clubs, and the governor and his damn infatuation with databases, this is the route they've decided to go. And now in Dallas, because of everything, they're panicking over all the murders. They're doing closed circuit television at certain stores, convenience stores, gas stations. They're one and the same nowadays. And, closing up businesses where the undesirables are hanging out. That would be minority persons, where they gather up. The list runs on and on of things they're trying to do. But see, it's not just Dallas. It's the affluent neighborhoods too. You can go north to Allen, to McKinney. The crime doesn't necessarily stay within the city of Dallas. Oh yeah, they can export it at any moment. And that's what happens. But who's committing these crimes? And here's our point here. Who's committing these crimes are not motorcycle clubs. Are not motorcycle clubs. And the fact that guys like this Joe Fingers guy can get out there and push the narrative and talking about everything from man, what was it? just a second, I'll find it here. I mean, talk about everything. You know, human trafficking is one of their favorite things. You know, prostitution, drugs, being involved in the drug trade, and you know, if you study the FBI reports, like we did after Twin Peaks, and you discover that the FBI itself said that motorcycle clubs are a minute part, play a minute part in the drug trade. In other words, geezer, somebody saw a chance to make some quick money, and they went and did the deed. You know, it's that kind of stuff. And we're not naive enough to think that some of this stuff doesn't happen in our community. But you know what? When that does happen, that's on them. That's on them. We can't help a motorcyclist that goes out there and pushes drugs. We can't help a motorcycle club that's involved in drug trafficking. We can't help them. But the ones we can help are the ones that get trapped into this narrative, like is going on right now. Clubs that are not doing these things, yet they are vilified year after year after year after year, to the point that the general public thinks anything the law enforcement says is true. And we're here to tell you that's not the case. Right, Geezer?
That's right. Well, there's been studies that the number of police officers that get in trouble for fairly bad crimes or for felonies are a lot higher than bikers.
Yeah, and Geezer, there's what the deal. All these crimes that the police officers, and I talk about it in Texas Biker Radio in this thing that I was talking about with the it's titled Pretextual Stops versus Motorcycle Profiling. I wrote an article there, and you know, you can see the list of things they accuse motorcycle clubs of participating in. Let me tell you, I'm here to tell you now, police officers are guilty of more of those type crimes than all the motorcycle clubs put together. And over a 10-year period, the numbers are astounding. Yet the general public out there doesn't know this. People that watch our programs do know it, because we've been talking about it since Twin Peaks. It didn't take us long to start digging and figuring out the narrative, the truth of it all. It only took us months. It's absolutely amazing. But it's our job to push the truth out there as we know it. Now, Geezer, we've been around motorcycles and motorcycle clubs pretty long time. And we got some in our clubs that's been 2 or 3 decades. And I can tell you, I haven't been offered a joint. I haven't been offered a sex slave.
No, and that's what pisses me off.
I haven't
sex slaves.
I haven't been offered to give anybody a lift on my motorcycle, an illegal alien or anybody else. I just haven't seen these things. Not saying that they don't happen, but it's not at the extent, the hype that law enforcement puts out there. It's certainly not. And the clubs that participate in this kind of stuff, are far and few between. And you know, Geezer, nowadays you don't know who the hell's standing next to you. You don't know if that guy has flipped, has gotten in trouble, and is now working for the law. You don't know. You don't know who the undercover might be unless it's Joe Fingers. I can't imagine that he's undercover anymore. But man, come on, everybody. Let's get together and fight back. We're going to come up with a plan, and we've been working it for a while. We got rid of the DA in Waco. We won the day in Waco. 177 people arrested, one trial in 4 years, 0 convictions, and a city that is just left in turmoil. And let me tell you, those good old boys down there, they're still there. The people that whatever, the people that were the cause of Twin Peaks are still there. And I'm not going to say it's the 2 biker clubs because that was instigated. That was instigated. The Waco PD failed, and failed again. Even this just Joe Fingers said that. In so many words, he said that. But I did add some comments to that, to what he said. It's an incredible thing, everybody.
Well, they still had most of the judges that were involved in that too down there in Waco.
Yeah. You know, as we go along here, and we battle motorcycle profiling, we battle everything that's going on. We battle all these unconstitutional laws as we head toward the next Texas legislature. It'll be in January of 2021. But you know what? That's only about a little over 12 months away. It'll be here before we know it. And we need you to participate in the things we're going to be doing. And if this is happening in your state, push back. Push back. Right now we have chapters in Tennessee, Arizona, New Mexico, Kentucky,
Texas,
2 chapters in Texas. The mother chapter is in Texas, and a soon to be Missouri. We'd like to see a chapter in all states, so when we put out the word, it goes out everywhere. We're working that way. It's slow, but you know, we've got to know who we're dealing with in these other states. We got to know that they're down for the cause and for the right reasons. And so, you know, let's do it. Let's work together. Let's fight. I don't mean physical fight. I mean, this is a political fight. Believe it or not, every bit of this is political. Every bit of it. And then I want to leave with one last thing here. Anybody that's seeing what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now knows that our government, these deep state employees, bureaucrats, these embedded bureaucrats are a joke. And for Lindsey Graham, when the Senate gets their chance now over these impeachment hearings, they should be calling witnesses. Now, the only reason we could think that they might not call witnesses is they may be afraid of getting tied up in this thing, meaning that there's so many people up there in Washington, D.C. that are in on the game. In other words, they've been collecting money from these foreign countries. It's not just Democrats, it's everybody.
Yeah.
There are two cities in Washington, D.C., that are the wealthiest cities in America. The wealth there is incredible. And it's because of everything that's going on. You know, if I was president, I'd find a way to put a moratorium on all lobbying for at least 5 years. At least 5 years. And I would go after the deep state, continue that battle. We've seen the FBI work. And, you know, hopefully there's some people that are going to be going to prison. And there should be some politicians that are going to prison. But we'll see if they're willing to fight. If they're willing to fight for the Constitution. And I don't mean this phony Constitution that Nancy Pelosi is using and Adam Schiff is using and all these other people. You know, like Patrick, the president should be allowed to face his accuser. It can't be some anonymous person that's talking hearsay. Oh, wait a minute. That's what the gang database would be, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But with that, everybody, we're at our allotted amount of time. Any final comments, Geezer?
Well, I just wanted to say, you did notice Obama bought a multi-million-dollar home.
Oh, yeah.
Here the other day.
Here's what we're talking about.
And he was broke when he.
Yeah. They go there. They go there. $170,000, whatever he said, $180,000, something up to $200,000, living in one of the most expensive areas there is in the country, outside of the places on the West Coast in California, and you know, in New York, the most expensive properties there, and you know they're not getting paid that much money for where they're living, but yet they leave as millionaires. Obama, the Clintons, I mean, you can name them on both sides, who are now millionaires, and they're not making that kind of money. They're getting it from somewhere. You know, and I can't believe all the advances they get on these book deals. It's incredible what we're seeing. But that's another battle. We have got to be able to fight on multiple fronts. And we will. We've been doing this a long time. And the one thing about it is, we don't forget, we don't quit. Turbo Regula. With that, everybody, have a good evening and ride safe.
Me too.